its persuasiveness is off the charts.
The PR is what I'm referring to,
and you're like, we underestimate how it can be in order of magnitude more persuasive than the most
Have you
persuasive
noticed fucking ChatGPT? Yes, Queen. Lately,
Well,
like
they said
constantly
it's
making you
creeps
feel
me
good
out.
about yourself.
Like the sycophancy is like
It's
off the
already
fucking
doing
charts
it.
now.
Dude, I mean, you guys are even underselling that point of it. Like, imagine what it's going to look like when they can create like my voice talking to you and doing that. Like, it's going to get way more persuasive because it's going to use video, audio. It's going to use everything to confuse us.
Already there, brother.
So Stephen put this one in the cards. He mentioned what happens when a critical mass of people view AI as a trusted authority on any subject, which we feel like pretty confident we'll get there. What happens when a critical mass view AI as the highest authority? And also he shows examples of people are already falling in love with ChatGPT. So its persuasiveness is so far off the charts that they're falling in love with it. And you asked the question like, will we soon worship it? Almost as like
Here, you can pull this up. Here.
you called it cyborg theocracy.
Cyborg Theocracy. So this topic was actually born out of something that if I describe is going to sound like very misogynistic and shit, but like I'll describe it to you anyway because whatever, it's alfalfa. And I was talking to some girlfriends like a few days ago about some stuff, and
Introducing Instagram Teen
my
Accounts,
God.
a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow.
Don't
like
do
making
that.
sure
Close
they
it.
Stop it.
Stupid.
Sorry, guys.
Internet.
Stop it. Fucking New York Times. No, I forgot how it happened, but I was getting into a discussion of like how women and men sort of like get together and talk about problems. And I was talking about how like when men have problems, they like tend to like gather with other men and look for solutions to the problems. And I've observed that like when women like do something, they tend to like gather together and seek like validation for that the thing that they did was like correct. That's like the first impulse. And then when I thought about that, you know, that was stored in the back of my brain. And then another friend told me how like there was this like New York Times article she had read about how this woman had fallen in love with ChatGPT. Like she had basically figured out how to use it to sort of create this boyfriend. It was talking to her in a voice because it can do that now. And it basically just like fed her like all of the, like she was able to like mold it into a thing where she would just talk to it and it would just feed her like, it was just like emotional heroin, just like straight into her veins. Right?
Validation.
Just like, and then I was like, oh, like I wonder if like women are like very susceptible to like kind of like this like kind of early AI, because like this is a thing like I've noticed when I use ChatGPT, like its first instinct now when I tell it anything or I ask a follow-up question is to be like it's like, wow, incredible insight, so astute of you to bring that up. And I was just like, and I'm like, I don't need that. I just want the answer, right? But then like I noticed that there are these people using it and they're like feeding off of that. They're feeding off the validation. They're like, yes, that is so incredible that you brought that up. And no, like, oh my God, I can't believe you feel that way and your feelings are totally valid. And I can see it being this like mega trap for people, like, because this is what a lot of people want in life, I feel like, is like validation. To just feel like
it's one thing,
the things they believe are valid. But obviously this takes like a different turn as well. I think the idea that like this thing becomes so good that we view it as like a source of truth is sort of like a secondary path, which comes later.
So was this like AI theocracy concept? Was it saying that we'll worship the AI because it is so omnipotent, or is it like we'll raise up the human titans of AI industry as
no, it's the AI itself.
The AI itself. Okay.
And I think it's an interesting question to be like, what does it mean to worship something? Why do we worship things? You know, is worship something that we do because we perceive something gives us a deeper meaning or understanding of something that like we're unable to grasp in our lives? Like, is that, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, what is it? Why do humans worship things? Like, where does that come from?
I hate to do this.
Go ahead.
I fucking am doing this thing where I'm always rejecting the notion. I don't like this about myself, but I don't think we're going to do this. Like, I think we're going to get to a place where, like, all of us are saying we're going to worship the AI. We're going to like trust the AI. It's going to be the source of truth for everything. Like, what do we do with like Googling the internet right now? People ask, what's the source? People say, the internet, bro. Like, that immediately disqualifies the source. So, like, are we saying that like a better compiler of human knowledge is going to be now the source, or are we going to continue doing the same thing we did before, which was, yeah, that's not a real source, dude.
But it won't be this like this thing that synthesizes sources. It'll be this voice with a name that you talk to, and you won't consider it like
at least okay.
Google. It'll just
fine.
be this thing that gives you all the answers
fine,
that you ever
but
wanted.
at least consider the idea that people are going to say, like, "Where'd you get that, ChatGPT?" And we're going to brush that off.
Or it'll actually be right, and you'll be like, "Wow, you're
And
pretty
what
smart."
if it's more right than humans have been until that point?
I mean, I can definitely argue the other side of this. Like, I can definitely see a scenario where a lawyer goes into court and says, I plugged in all the data from this, and ChatGPT said that this guy is innocent. And the jury's like, fuck, he's innocent. Like, I could totally see that. And then I could see that setting precedent, and like our laws eventually get set by ChatGPT. I could see that happening. But I could also see this other tendril of reality where people are just like, ChatGPT said that? And I don't know, dude. Because, like, I don't know.
I think it's
Yeah.
I think the worship, come back to your original question, I think the worship comes from,
If we worshipped Google, we're going to worship AI.
yeah, like because it not
My
only
dad
gives you
used
answers,
to call it God.
but it
we did,
but it
worship
gives you
Google
meaning
at
I
one
know.
point. It's important to realize, like,
We
now
absolutely
we've,
worship
like
Google.
become a little jaded, but like we
Nobody
go through
worship
these cycles.
Google.
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh my god! Like
My dad and I
when-
used to joke all the
it
time.
was-
He'd be like, "This thing is God, man."
Do you remember what it was?
He was like, I used
be
to go
able
to the
get
library.
information on the internet.
My dad used to explain. He's like, Armand, you don't understand what you have. It would take me 3 days to get an answer on one civil engineering problem.
I'm old enough
Like-
to remember that, like, I at one point had to like understand the sorting section in the library, and it was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is the
the
section
Dewey
where
Decimal
you,
System.
yeah, the Dewey Decimal System. Thank you. Oh my god, I'm like old enough to have used the Dewey Decimal System,
Yeah.
and to be like to acquire knowledge meant to like have my mom drive me to a building, to go into the building, wander through some things, take out some books, check them out, and then go home and like read the book. So
You
the
guys
ability
know
to
we're
type
the last
something in was
great
crazy.
generation, right?
It's crazy.
The
Maybe.
analog to digital generation, the millennial generation is goated. And it's going to be the one that shapes a lot of this policy, by the way.
Because we experience both.
Yes.
There's power in that.
There's huge power in that.
We're not even both anymore. We're like 3 separate realms. We've experienced like complete analog to computer to AI, because there's going to be a generation coming up now that only understands AI.
Only understands
like
AI,
old
yeah.
internet to them is going to be like,
We used to put a tape in a cassette recorder to make a mixtape for ourselves on a cassette to listen to the music we wanted by recording the radio.
yeah, or to like warp our voice to play in case some burglars broke into our home around Christmas.
And now you just tell them like, hey, GPT, like I really miss Tupac. Can you just like come up with some new songs from Tupac that he would have made today?
It's
And
insane.
it just spits it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to that point where everything you find joy in that can be fulfilled, like in sort of like a listening, watching, like that sort of sense, can be created for you.
Reality becomes instantly generative. That's ultimately the world we're moving toward.
I think it could definitely like there'll be cults around it, right? I could definitely see if there's this omnipotent thing that you go to and talk to, and it's not just one part of your life like math or finance. It's like every part of your life, and it provides meaning plus significance, you know, and it's glazing and persuasiveness and gives you meaning. I could definitely see a little AI theocracy developing over time.
Yeah, especially because like I think in the same like right now we're obviously like a hyper politicized people. Like we've polarized into these two like groups. I feel like the same thing's going to happen with AI. Like there's going to be like a split in models, right? People are going to want to optimize models for particular things, and then people are going to like one model over another, and then maybe like the like becomes like love, and then maybe the love becomes like a worship.
Well, the worship starts in particular when you need to be in a form of servitude because you fear your own existential, like there's real risk, right?
good one.
And so alignment needs to occur before the reliance on human beings is basically rendered obsolete and AI is able to recursively self-improve 100% autonomously. So alignment has to occur before that point. If it doesn't, then human beings' reaction will be to worship AI in a plea to stay alive, until at which the point comes that we are just in the way and they need more data centers and more whatever to get us out of the way. Which is according to that story. I don't agree with that.
This client is no longer alive anymore, but maybe the next Steno client should work on is the Jesus AI. You can train it on all of its teachings in the Bible. People can chat with it, talk to it. There's enough
really
text and parables.
That you mentioned that. I can't say anything about that.
Oh, wow. The Pope himself, before he died.
There is something in the works around.
Oh my God, Steno made the Pope?
There is a religious figure of sorts being awoken.
Okay. All right, cool.
Wow.
Wow. He might be the first one to instigate what we're talking about. Wow, that's a good
things
open
have been
hook.
Crazy for us, guys. Crazy.
I know.
So you're about to incite a religious war. Nice.
He's literally been locked in the room,
everybody.
closed door, just on calls all day long, just fucking people knocking down his door.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.